Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be. My name is Arkada, and welcome to Mailbag Showdown. I almost said Class Reflection. Wow, I've been doing too many things at once now. Anyway, yada yada, if you know the show, I sit here and I answer questions based on anime and otaku in general, and if you would like to send in an email yourself, you can at mailbagshowdown@glassreflection.net. That is mailbagshowdown@glassreflection.net. And without any further ado, let's get started. So, long-time watcher, first-time writer, looking for some anime recommendations. I'm a fan of more surreal and cerebral things, Utena, Madoka Magica, Penguin Drum, Lane, Paranoia Agent, etc., but also a fan of action of various varieties, Kamen Rider, Sentai, some varieties of Gundam, so I wonder if lurking in that wonderful brain of yours is anything that combines the two. Keep up the awesome work. Ooh, you want something like Magica and Lane, but with Sentai elements? I think Madoka Magica actually is fairly close to your bill. Unfortunately, you already mentioned it, so I can't use that. Drat! The problem is that you've basically listed all the very surreal kind of shows that I would recommend to anyone, and the ones beyond that have absolutely nothing similar to Kamen Rider or Sentai. So the closest things that I can think of, and maybe some people in the comments might have a better example for you, is Darker Than Black. Specifically, Gemini of the Meteor, the Season 2, which I only recommend because I get the feeling myself, and a lot of people might tell you the same thing, is that Season 2 is a better place to start than Season 1. It's a little backwards, I know, but you might want to try it that way. And the only other example I have is Read or Die. It's a short OVA, and while it does have a television series, I haven't seen it, so I can't vouch for it. But the OVA is pretty good, even if it's not as mind-fuckery as you might think. And you might consider this last recommendation a little bit more childish, but it kind of fits your themes quite a bit, which is Digimon Tamers. Now, it is meant for a little bit of a younger audience, but the screenwriter was the same man that wrote Lane. So in a lot of ways, it is really screwed up, but at the same time, it has that kind of teamwork aspects that Sentai has. I only mentioned it last because it's a little bit more of a kid thing. A lot of people have this kind of negative connotation to Digimon because the whole Digimon-Pokemon wars from everybody's childhood, or at least a lot of people's childhood, but the recommendation is still there nonetheless. Okay, next up. Dear Arkada, if I am correct, you are from Newfoundland, as I am. I was wondering if growing up as an anime fan on our beautiful island was hard for someone of such interests. I myself have found it to be kind of difficult, as there are not really anywhere here to buy anime, and that not many people are interested in it. Were you ever made fun of or judged for liking anime? Also, recently Funimation has released the dubcast and trailer for Steins Gate with the very talented J. Michael Tatum playing Okabe, and I was wondering if you were happy to see Tatum play the role, and if not, is there anyone you think would have done a better job as the loved mad scientist? Well, when it comes to Newfoundland, it's a little bit of an embarrassment and also a little bit of a disappointment in my life. My family is all from Newfoundland, but I unfortunately was not born nor was I raised on the island. Both of my parents were born in Corner Brook, and my family on my father's side is from Stephenville. But due to the job market, my dad was forced off the island, and it was in Ontario where I was born, and that's where I spent most of my childhood. However, my mother, after my parents' divorce, moved back to Newfoundland, and every summer, as far back as I can remember, I've always been up in Newfoundland, and even lately I've been spending anywhere between a month to 2 months up there every summer, and the year between high school and going to university, I spent the entire year in Corner Brook. And that's kind of how that goes, although I didn't really start watching anime till high school, so I actually spent a good chunk of what I would consider my period of just being on my own and watching a lot of anime to be that one specific year that I was living in Newfoundland. And it was one of those unfortunate things where there really isn't a lot of places on the island to buy anime. Most of it you have to get shipped to the island, which, if anyone who's lived on the island knows, that if you try to get something shipped to Newfoundland, it will most likely get sucked into a black hole somewhere on its way to the island and then just magically appear on your door, because that's just how the post works when it comes to the island. And as for the Steins Gate question, I answered most of this in one of the most recent Podtaku episodes with the rest of the gang there. And I do think that out of all the people in the world that they could have got to play Okabe, J. Michael Tatum was a very good choice. My number one choice would have been for Chris Patton. Unfortunately, he doesn't work for Funimation anymore, and that's a whole ball of wax that I don't really want to try and understand, nor do I have the time to explain. And as much as it's a really sad state of affairs, it is just a fact of life that we're all going to have to live with. And even to this day, I haven't watched any of the episodes yet, as there are a couple of episodes up on Funimation site and YouTube, I think even, that are dubbed, but I'm waiting to actually own the series because I gotta get it anyway when it comes out. And all I've seen is the trailer, which wasn't bad, so hopefully it's not too horrible. Though Tatum does have rather large shoes to fill. So hopefully he'll do it very well. Okay, next up. Let me just say that I love your reviews, and I am loving this Mailbag Showdown videos that you are posting. Now, for my question, or questions, will you ever do a review of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic? I think that people really look over the show because they think it's only for kids. I remember you saying that you were indeed a brony, and this tells me that you are not a person who bashes the show, and I was wondering if you would help me spread brony awareness. Thanks for your time, and P.S., what's your favorite pony? Mine is Rainbow Dash. Okay, let me throw this out there. You don't need me to spread brony culture. Brony culture is kind of freaking huge. I very much doubt a review from me would change that in any way, but unless you haven't noticed, I review anime. As great as My Little Pony is, it's not anime, so it doesn't really fall within my forte. Like, if I was to try and review it, I would review it as I compare it to anime, but that's almost not a really fair comparison, is it? So, really, bottom line, no, I have no plans of reviewing My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, for the same reasons why I will probably never review Avatar: The Last Airbender, or basically anything else made in the West. And I have a hard enough time trying to find the time to review things from Japan as is, let alone something from North America. So, sorry about that. P.S. Applejack and Vinyl Scratch. Hopefully that answered your question. Next up. Dear Arcata, answer me these questions 3. What is your favorite pudding? Chocolate. Would you ever consider guiding a group of troubleshooters in their task in the name of Friend Computer? If I had the time, yes. Otherwise, unfortunately, no. If the world suddenly became animated, which studio would you want to design and animate reality? Ufotable. Though that usually changes every couple of years when one studio completely blows the crap out of the rest of them in terms of quality. So I hope that answered your questions, Jake. And that's it for me for today. I hope that you have enjoyed these little questions and answers that I have given you today. And if you would like to send in an email yourself, you can at mailbagshowdown@glassreflection.net. That is mailbagshowdown@glassreflection.net. And until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and others, stay frosty.